Contemporary art practices in India suffer from amnesia about several important and distinctive characteristics of the Indian art tradition. These include continuity with no art craft divide, purposeful communication, no art for art's sake, integrated experientiality at sensory, emotional, and mental levels, rasas and ananda, a fluid occurrence across socio-economic strata that does not interestingly follow Abraham Maslow's need hierarchy postulates. The huts of poor villages do have paintings. Many homes have rice flour columns made every morning creatively on mud floors. At the same time, our fine arts have been infected by an anti-beauty influence from Western contemporary art practice. I still remember the experience of one of our senior artists when she exhibited in New York about 15 years ago. She told me, I felt like a freak. My work was just too pleasing, too beautiful. My own experience of living in the US for some 20 years was that my work was often seen as regressive because I was less interested in newness of materials and methods, and more excited about an integrative spiritual art practice. The time has come to rethink the purposes of art because our current purposive notions, self-expression, and art for its own sake are running out of steam. I would suggest that postmodernism, with the weight of Duchamp's inbred conceptualism, has become too self-referential and self-absorbed. Art is increasingly having a conversation with itself. The world of art, which includes pundits, art historians, critics, curators, collectors, and artists, has become too self-contained and too insulated. This narrow world hardly connects with anyone outside it and doesn't offer much by way of integration or meaningfulness to people outside it. I would further argue that the emphasis on individual creativity, self-expression, and art for art's sake has left art and artists disconnected because these concepts are reductionist and isolated. All deep beauty experiences seem imbued with the feelings of harmony and balance, proportionality and rhythm. In the Indian view, these experiences have the potentiality for inducing ananda, a bliss that is transformative. When discussing beauty and art too, I think there might be something to the argument that there are different levels of consciousness. The beauty experience possibly occurs through a non-quantifying dimension or level of consciousness. When there is a disengagement from quantifying consciousness, which is analytical or discursive thought. This other kind of consciousness, it could be called a qualifying consciousness, is the one that perceives, feels, and responds to qualities. And it is at this level that we experience beauty. Surely I'm not the only artist who has felt frustrated at the extent of analytical and discursive consciousness operative in people's engagement with the arts. Viewers want information. What does this painting mean, they ask? And critics and historians endlessly analyze and write the most turgid prose about art. I wonder, am I the only one here who has difficulty understanding most of what these people write? We could say that beauty forms in the relationship between viewer and object mainly through qualifying consciousness. And beauty, when deconstructed, comprises relational qualities like balance, harmony, proportionality, and rhythm, which was once postulated in Greek and Indian classical aesthetic traditions. What is important to recognize is that beauty and its constituent values of harmony, proportion, et al. Are dynamic and contextual relational states. When certain conditions are present and others are absent, it can be said that a person, object, a process, or system is in a state of beauty. Though at one level, beauty is the opposite of ugly, at a deeper level, beauty is more than the absence of ugliness. Profound experiences of beauty can integrate opposites and create higher levels of transformative understanding of harmony and balance and the cycles of life.